Thank you very much, Brigitte, for this kind words. Very good morning to all of you. I'll talk about mostly on girls empowerment in Bangladesh, progresses and prospects and challenges, obviously. Bangladesh is a case where women have created their own space in family, society, state, and made significant contributions in various professional and employment sectors as well as economic and social sectors. The significant achievement that Bangladesh has achieved in these areas, among those very few will be the visibility, the mobility of women, and which is really backed by the media as well. So media, gender sensitive, right sensitive media is one of the achievement of Bangladesh also. But of course, always there will be some pros and cons. Another important area is this political participation from Beijing to today. So in the grassroots and also in national parliament, our representation is much more than before. Education. Bangladesh is one of the South Asian countries which has achieved gender parity both in primary and secondary education enrollment. In livelihoods and income generation activities, women are really far ahead of many, and it's very visible. The remittance, which is income through the migrants labor of Bangladesh, has really contributed to the economic stability when the big, large, developed countries were struggling with it. And there also the percentage of female migrants are increasing very sharply. Men and women. It is a very patriarchal society, very stigmatized about women. Masculinity is the only thing which is valued. Along that line, men and women are coming forward to work for gender equality. Within BRAC's work, we work with men and women, and it's like at least 2 million women and men are working against domestic violence and gender-based discrimination. 120,000 students, 40% are boys, are combating sexual harassment in public places and their neighborhood communities. So this is a new agenda and it's coming out very strongly. And I think I will end up in this young people's leadership. There were so many questions. I think this is another area. Directly, we work with more than 1 million young adolescent girls and boys. And we have also very recently we launched a interactive app, which is MyApa app, BRAC and with partner, and which is the first kind in Bangladesh where women and girls can directly raise their questions and queries related to their professional life, health, justice, education, whatever it is. And there are many areas which are progressing. But at the same time, when we are talking about this progress, we need to remind ourselves, still this is a country where 87% women said they have at least sometime, some point in their life has, addressed domestic violence by their intimate partners. This is the country where we have achieved the gender parity in enrollment, but again the completion rate is very poor. In primary education, our completion rate is very good. It's like almost 99% now, from 35 in 90s around Beijing Fourth World Conference. But in secondary education, completion rate is very low. So dropout from the school of girl students are very high. Maternal mortality rate, we have reduced 30% within this couple of few years, which is a kind of radical kind of achievement. but by saying so, this still is one of the highest in Asia. We are only, advanced from a couple of countries of South Asia. So this is a big issue. Stunted baby, I'm so happy that Erika already mentioned how nutrition is hampering the growth of children and young girls. And these are the challenge of Bangladesh, and I would like to mention this, every challenge of Bangladesh, when I say domestic violence, married women, migrants women, these women are, majority of them are young women. So we have to remember that. So when we say young women, it's really girls also we are talking about. And beyond 2015, in goal 3.1, I think, it says that every country has to have a target where they will reduce their maternal mortality rate to a certain percent. But in Bangladesh, highest maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate is due to this early marriage of young children. They are malnourished, they are not progress, they have no growth of their own body, they are married, and they are taking all the burdens of the society, family, and now these children. And in Bangladesh, we have a law. In 1929, we have our law, which is Child Marriage Restraint Act, which we are still following. In 1984, we made one line change. The age is from now is 18 years for girls to get married, and for boys it is 21. And this is the first time Bangladesh government is trying to improve this law. And civil society members, particularly Girls Not Bride, Bangladesh Alliance is very vocal, and all others really. Media, we just name it. Everybody is very vocal against it. So Bangladesh government was trying to reduce the age, but with this very strong advocacy lobbying, now they said, okay, marrying age will be 18, but then they are putting a clause, sub-clause, which already mentioned by the speaker earlier. 16, they said age of consent, and parents can marry off their girls with the court help. What means it's taken us so many years to make it believe that, make the belief that marrying before an adult age, 18, is detrimental to the person. And now government is trying to change that. Bangladesh law, I can name you 10, 12, 15, 20 laws and policies are there. Everywhere they recognize age of adult is 18. We also ratified CEDAW and CRC and all those international conventions. So we are going against that. Because it is so real now for us, I don't think I cannot talk about against early marriage and go from here. So we need every one of your support, wherever, whatever the way, you can provide us support so that our government need to understand that the progress the women made in Bangladesh for last 20, 50 years will be really now go into an opposite direction. We will make ourselves like, this law will detriment the total progress of girls and women of Bangladesh. And so my appeal is to you all, please help us in any way. I even talked to the SG Ban Ki-moon of UN about it, whether he can help it. Kofi Annan has wrote an open letter to our Prime Minister through this Girls Not Bride Alliance. Just before we came, on 18th, we had published our memorandum, which we have provided to the Prime Minister, but still it's not working. It looks like it's not working. So this is where Bangladesh girls' empowerment progress is almost going to be stunted. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions that we have for Sheepa?
Yes, I want to add one big issue for Bangladesh, what we consider and what we learn from our experience of working with communities and national level advocacy. The issue of sexuality and reproductive health rights in Bangladesh, and still the culture of silence and also the recognition from government that this is a big issue to address in whole development agenda. So I would like to just make your consultation on this issue also. Sheepa first.
I think we, couple of civil society organizations are working with sexuality rights and reproductive health rights agenda. We are working with the school and teachers, providing the teachers training, and they are providing the information to the students. We have developed jointly books, very easy Bangla books on sexuality rights and reproductive health rights, and the result is extremely positive. Although by saying so, in the intellectual groups, when we will go and talk to the people, particularly the powerful decision makers, policy makers, there the sexuality right is still a taboo. But in practice, we are working with people, young girls, boys, their parents and the community, and it is possible. And by seeing that, many of the government school also are changing their attitude, because in this curriculum there is at least one chapter written on sexuality and reproductive health rights, which was never taught by any teacher of any school, but then now they are starting teaching that. So we think we can make progress, but it's a long way to go.
Sheepa, if you'd like to sit down, we can open up the panel for everybody. Any questions anyone has for anyone? Thank you. I actually had a question. I'd love to hear about the partnership that your organizations have working together in Bangladesh on these issues. I know BRAC and the Hunger Project partner, HKI. Would either of you like to speak on sort of local partnerships?
Okay, I can go with it. We value partnership, networking alliances with other civil society organizations, and locally, regionally, and internationally. And with this Girls Not BRAC, we have partnership with HKI, of course, National Girl Child Advocacy, and BRAC is also a partner of National Girl Child Advocacy for a very long time. And these networks are very active and very vocal in times of need. So, and also in the government now, we are having so many MOUs, memorandum of understanding, because the good work government, when they see some of them, they can recognize and they would like to take this, into their own work. So we are working with the government, particularly the Ministry of Women and Children Affairs, Planning Commission. When they are developing their 7th five-year plan, we, from the civil society, we are providing our gender sensitive, gender analysis to those policies. So there are a lot of back and forth.
Advocacy, actually, we have done a lot of work. Actually, this is not very easy task with the work with the government people. So you know that in our country, so there is a very important issue. But at the same time, you know that without government permission or without government acknowledgement or acceptance, we cannot run. So we need to actually the good relationship with the government people. And we want to say actually there is a lot of changes by our government, and I think this is a most the investment and most advocacy by the NGO level, that with the non-government organization. And when we actually work together, non-government organization, that means like alliance or maybe the one platform, then our government will take the information or they may be take the decision. Without alone, it is not. Any individual organization try to create the pressure to the government, I think so this is not possible task. So, and at the same time, the Helen Killer also are good partners.
Yeah,
so we working together. And out of the alliance, that means our Sheepa Hafiza already mentioned the Girls Not BRAC and Girl Child Advocacy Forum work together. At the same time, we are working together with BRAC, the partnership for the local government, actually the one of the activities to strengthening our local government people. So in Bangladesh we are working in partnership among the 61 units. And I think so this is a good partnership with the government also.
Yeah, and Helen Keller International is a technical partner. We work with like the Hunger Project or BRAC, Hunger Project volunteers, or the BRAC Shastra Shibikas, which is like a frontline health volunteer, basically, to get that reach. So we do that. And then in the area of nutrition, all the organizations are involved with SUN, which is the Scaling Up Nutrition Initiative, and that's a global sort of platform or alliance for nutrition.
And Helen Keller, they have also the one platform, GWG, that means Women Development, and we also work together,
Yes.
GWG. So this is a good alliance and good partnership with all organizations. So this is one of the strengths for us.
Yeah, so
Let me
that's
just
the
mention one thing, like in Bangladesh, we do not work with government's fund or resource, where we are very different than India and others. And so we have to have a sweet and bitter relationship with the government every time, because there is this big bureau which also has the approval of NGOs. But for building partnership, I don't think we need any approval or networks or anything. So when we talk about this Child Marriage Restraint Act, government has already done all the work and put it in the website. And we find it out and we said, how come you did that without us? So government came back and we did our, work. So this is the relationship we work with. But among the NGOs particularly and other civil society actors, we work very closely. Otherwise, we cannot really fight against odds.
John?
Yeah, thanks. I had a question. The last time I was in Bangladesh, I heard in a number of the local governments where the Hunger Project has been working, there were the heads of the union parishads, the heads of the local government, who had really taken a stand to eliminate child marriage. And I'm just curious, A, how you got that to happen, and B, how effective that is when the local government really takes a stand to prohibit child marriage. How does that work?
Okay, already by this time, that means some union parishad already they have declared no child marriage in their own area, and by this time, I got some information about 4 to 5 unions already. There is a child marriage percentage is 0, like a Betaga union. Some of the union I think so that's area, but not more. 4 to 5 unions.
Can I just add to it? By default, this government last 5 years, they really didn't work or empower the local government at all. This news phase, they said they will, which we haven't seen anything happening yet. But obviously, there are local government groups still working without any power almost. But about the child marriage issue, I think this is the first time our government and also the civil society is trying to directly address the issue. In Bangladeshi history, child marriage was always a tertiary issue, be it a human rights or education or health. So this is the first time we realize this is the issue that we need to address. And many organizations, government as well, declaring like this union is the lowest part of the administrative unit out of child marriage, which is hard to, there are questions because we don't have any database which can give us the, census of it. So we are trying to build a census along with the government so that then whatever claim, we make that is really valid to it. I'd like to mention about sexual harassment. There are a lot of questions. We work with schools, students. 40% of them are boys and 60% girls. And also their neighborhood community, local government, police, school management committee to combat against sexual harassment. And there are students watch committee, there are community watch groups who are working against it. And these becoming very sustainable agencies. While BRAC withdrew from those areas, they are still very vocal. They even raise questions when there are any sexual harassment incidents happening in university around their locality. And mostly Bangladeshi universities are so politicized now, even when there is a sexual harassment case happen, two political party came in and nobody talks about it. But these people, these community people are raising their voice in agenda and memorandum. And now Bangladesh government has a direction from the High Court against sexual harassment. Every institution are supposed to have a sexual harassment redressal committee. So this is a big agenda for our country. In 2009 and 10, there are so many incidents which was very visible in media, killing, suicide, everything, you just name it, which has really stopped. We are not seeing those things like the way it was. So I think this consciousness has raised a